Hey, are you looking for a professional strobe that will give you dollar for dollar more professional features than any other strobe on the market? Well, I'm going to review the Godox AD600 Pro, and it's going to start right now. Hey everybody, my name is Sean Seymour and I own a photography studio in Sacramento, California. I do a lot of location shoots and I also do a lot of shoots in the studio. The Godox AD600 Pro has been my go-to strobe for location shoots ever since last year when I bought it, and I've started using it more and more in the studio. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the Godox AD600 Pro so that if you're looking at possibly getting a Godox AD600 Pro, you're making an educated decision. Personally, I'm really hard on gear and I own a ton of gear. So I've been through my fair share of strobes, and the fact that I've landed on the Godox AD600 Pro as my workhorse should be good enough for you. Let's go ahead and get started and taking a look at it. It's made by Godox. It's called AD as in Alpha Delta 600 Pro, and they have a full line running from the 200 Pro, 400 Pro to 600 Pro. 600 meaning it's got 600 watts, pretty much the most powerful strobe that they have in this kind of form factor, which is battery powered and very, very portable. These run $8.99 on Amazon. You can find the link in the description below if you're interested in taking a look. The very first thing that I want to show you is that this is a battery pack. It runs off of batteries that you can interchange. So if you buy an extra battery, you just plug it in there and you are good to go. I just finished up a shoot with a basketball star in the area. Her name is Eden, and we did 300 photographs. And if you take a look at this battery, you'll see that it's nowhere near being empty. I've got 3 out of the 4 green lights going. And when I turn this on, up here my battery indicator, it's telling me that I've got almost a full charge. So I've gone almost 1,000 shots before I've worn out a battery. One of the things that I will tell you is that the battery notification sometimes is an audible chirp, and other times either I'm missing it or it just doesn't do it. It just stops firing. So that's something that you want to look for. Okay, the last part of the power of this unit, this is the battery. You can also buy an adapter that gets you 120 volt AC power. The adapter has a little fan inside of it. It makes a ruckus. So if you're thinking of using these as as video lights by using the modeling lamp, you might want to rethink that because this is going to make some noise. I personally wish I had never spent the money on these. And the reason why is because I've never used them. I've never needed to. I have 6 different batteries and I'm running 3 to 4 of these at any one time, and I've never been through a full set of batteries where I needed more power. I originally bought these as backups, and then I realized, you know what? It won't work as a backup. I have the Pulse Buff battery packs, the Mini Vagabond and the Vagabond, and I thought, well, I'll go ahead and use this to plug into my Mini Vagabond. Well, these do not work with the Mini Vagabond, just telling you. So don't think that you're going to buy an AC unit like I did and think, oh, these will work great as a backup if I just bring the other batteries. Doesn't work that way. I guess you could use these if you were in studio and you were shooting all day, but personally, I've never needed this. I do know for myself I would never have spent the money on it again. The other thing that I like about this is that it comes with its own reflector, and the reflector has a cover, which goes on like that. It's actually how you store it. You snap this back on, and now it has a reflector and a cover all in one. I personally tested these reflectors outdoors and I didn't find them to work very well. Now I know this is probably not a fair comparison, but I'm going to show you the difference between using a reflector like this, which is an 11-inch deep reflector, or using the reflector that comes with. I guess in a pinch you could go ahead and use this reflector, but you're not going to have a lot of control over the light, and it really doesn't seem to throw the light very well. But that said, it is cool that it comes with a reflector, so if by chance I've forgotten to put this in my gear bag that day. At least I have a reflector and not just an open bulb. One of the really cool things is this wireless trigger. I can control the modeling lamp, I can control high-speed sync, I can control the power. This is the X Pro, and I've got the one for Canon, so it's an X Pro C. I believe they make them for both Sony and Nikon, and I think they have one out for Fuji now. This wireless trigger not only will control the AD600 Pro, but will in combination also control the AD200 Pro. And if you haven't seen my review on the AD200 Pro, I'll put the link up here and you can go check it out. The wireless trigger will control this unit up to 300 feet away. 328 feet, I believe, is what they list. I personally have been at least 200 feet away and it's worked flawless. Every function that is in this mono head is something that can be controlled with this wireless trigger. Something I love. No more running around to power packs, no more adjusting your lights, you know, running around adjusting all your lights, getting up on ladders or any of that. Everything is controlled right here in the wireless trigger. So this ties into a whole system of lights if you want. You can run multiple AD600 Pros, you can run AD400 Pros, you can run the AD200 Pros, and actually the wireless unit has the ability to tie into 32 different channels, and I believe it allows you up to 99 unique wireless IDs. We're talking stuff that most people don't use. I go on site and I've got 4 of these maybe. If I throw in my 2 AD200 Pros, I've got 6. It has the ability to tie in to more of a system than just a unit by itself. Some of the basics about this. This flash tube, first of all, is protected against your hands. Flash tube is inside of this glass. Normally you can't touch a flash tube with your hands because the oil on your hands will cause the flash tube to overheat. It's kind of cool that that's totally protected right there. Let's talk about how quickly this thing recycles. I'm going to take this down to half power and we're going to fire it a couple times. I'm a model. I can't move as fast as you can shoot. As you can shoot. Oh my gosh. Right? You hear that? Pop, 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 pop. That's my recycle time at half power, right? I'm not taking this down to, let's take this down to 1/16 power. At 1/16 power, I should be able to go crazy. The other thing I like about this is it has a modeling lamp. So I can turn the modeling lamp on or off. I can change the intensity of the modeling lamp. I had someone ask me in the comments whether or not they think this modeling lamp would be good for video. I don't know, I've never tried it for video, but I do think that if you're going to use a modeling lamp, you expect your battery to go down literally very quick. So it's a 32 watt LED modeling lamp. So for 32 watts of modeling lamp, you could get away with using it for video. Let's talk about the LCD screen on the front, and I'll show you a close-up of this. But the LCD screen on the front is very easy to read. It has your battery indicator. It has whether or not there's sound on. It has what mode you're in. And it also has channel, whether you're wireless or not, which unit it is. I've got mine set up as A, B, and C so I can control them individually. Whether or not your modeling lamp is on, what your actual flash duration is in a shutter speed like formula. It's a 1 over whatever. This one's 1 over 740 right now. So that's your flash duration. It's telling you that if you literally left your shutter open in the dark and you just use this to expose the image, you'd be exposing the image at 1/740th of a second. All of the buttons on this are very, very easy to use. They're very nice. This dial works really well. I can test flash. Woo! Hot! Just by hitting the test flash button, or I can do that also on my remote. If I have my remote set up and I want to test flash, all I have to do is hit the button on my remote and it works great. Alright, the other thing that I like about this is everything in this unit is professional as far as the outer casing. It's hard, tough plastic, and I know some people don't like plastic, but if I had to use this over something else, like maybe Policy Buff's plastic, this is a little bit better. It's got a nice handle back here, which makes it easy to control when you've got a little bit of weight out here and you're using a softbox or something like that. The handle has a button, which makes it really easy to change the angle of the head. And I absolutely love that. I can't stand when manufacturers cheap out stuff by not having an adjustable handle. It also makes it much, much easier to get it to where it's fast and easy for you to make adjustments. The mount. It's a Bowens mount, which allows you to use all kinds of different modifiers. There are so many modifiers out there for Bowens mounts. Soft boxes, strip boxes, beauty dishes, it's upside down. Reflectors, octagons, octoboxes, you name it. If it's out there, it probably exists in a Bowens mount. So one of the cool things about this mount is there's a ton of options available if you're looking for modifiers for this particular strobe unit. Another feature that I really like about this is it has high-speed sync, which is really key for shooting sports photography. And the reason I say that is because normally my camera's sync speed, in other words, the fastest I can make the shutter when I'm using strobes is 1/200th of a second. And if you take a look at my video on shutter speed, you'll see that 1/200th of a second is not fast enough to freeze quick motion or sports. You need to go a lot higher, almost 1/1000th, if not higher than that, in order to freeze it. Well, if you're shooting 1/1000ths on a normal set of strobes that does not have high sync, it won't work. What you'll get is you'll get half of your image will be dark, the other half will be exposed with the flash or with the strobe. What high-speed sync does is it exposes the whole image all the way up to 1/8000th of a second. One word of caution on high-speed sync, which nobody told me when I bought these, but I later found out. If you're shooting full power flashes, this only has the ability to do 50 before it has to cool down. So one of the things that I recommend is don't use high-speed sync unless you need high-speed sync. And then when you're using high-speed sync, keep in mind that this is going to overheat. If you keep going past 50, it actually stops you. You can't do it. The other thing to keep in mind about high-speed sync is it greatly reduces the power of the overall flash. So if I'm shooting at 600 watt seconds because I'm 1:1 on the power, just figure that this is going to be cut in half at least. So if I'm shooting at 1/4000th of a second or 1/8000th of a second or something like that, and I'm shooting high-speed sync, this is only going to give me about 300 watt seconds of power versus the 600 watts it would normally give me if I was set on a normal sync speed and I wasn't using high-speed sync. So those are the two things about high-speed sync that you need to be aware of. One is at full power, this only gets about 50 flashes before you have to let it cool down. And the other is they're going to be at about half power of what you're normally used to. Some people are telling people to always shoot on high-speed sync, and that's absolutely not correct, assuming you're shooting more than 50 shots. One of the things that I didn't talk about yet is flash duration. This has a very fast flash duration. This goes from 1/220th of a second all the way up to 1/10,100th of a second. So in other words, it's going to catch something at 1/10,000 1/100th of a second. One of the things that you need to know about flash duration is flash duration gets longer as the power level goes up. So don't expect to shoot this at 600 watts and get that 1/10,000th of a second. I don't have a better way to explain flash duration in a short period of time in this video, but maybe someday if you want to see it, leave it in the comments below and I'll create a flash duration video. Something that I don't like about the Godox design here is that for whatever reason, they don't seem to fit very well on a 5/8 inch stud, which is on almost every single professional equipment piece that I've ever used. You can buy these little studs, you can get light stands that automatically have that size on them. So I don't understand why Godox didn't make this sit and seat down really well on a 5/8 inch stud. Anyway, once you crank it down, it's fine, but I wish that they had done a better job of machining that. They did such a good job on the rest of this handle. The only part that is a bummer is that machining inside is not tight like it is on, say, a Paul C. Buff unit or the other units that I've used. So let me give you my 2 cents about why I love this unit. This thing is lightweight. I have 3 of them in a box. I can carry that case anywhere that I go. I have enough backup batteries to shoot literally for 5-6 hours. And with high-speed sync, I can go ahead and shoot any sports pictures that I want. I'm no longer limited by my lighting. I'm only limited by me and my creativity. I also really appreciate the design of this unit. The handle in the back, even though it seems like something that's really simple, is actually great because you can grab onto it The batteries are very, very easy to get on and off, especially when they're sitting on a light stand and you're trying to disengage the battery and put a new one on. You don't want to knock everything over. I do appreciate the backup reflector cover on the front here, because I am notorious, if I don't have my list, I'm notorious for leaving gear at the studio when I meant to put it in the car and take it with me. These things have been indestructible so far. As I mentioned, I'm very hard on gear, and I had over 200 shoots last year, and these were on every single one of my location shoots. Last but not least, for me, being able to tie this larger unit, which is 600 watts, into something like this Godox AD600 Pro, you know, I can do so many things with this tiny little flash unit. With my wireless trigger, I control this and this together, and to me, that's awesome. It extends the ability of my creativity. The limit is not the equipment anymore. The limit is what I can come up with. I can see this particular strobe unit being used by everyone from your hobbyist all the way through to your professional. It has replaceable flash tubes, it has replaceable batteries, and I have yet to hear anybody complain about the main body of the unit going down. So you keep one of these flash tubes on site with you and you shoot away, and as a professional, that's all you need is redundancy and consistency, and that's what this gives you. So for me, I think hobbyists all the way through to somebody that's making a living with photography. All right, I hope you found this video helpful, and let me know if the Godox AD600 Pro is something that you end up getting, or that if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the like button, because that tells YouTube that more people should see this, and that helps my channel grow. If you want to follow along, you can hit the subscribe button, and if you want a notification when I put out a new video, hit that bell notification. Until I see you on the next video, keep strobing and keep it simple, my friend. I just had it. Oh my gosh, my brain. What? Oh, it's worse than an obnoxious teenager. There were two things. What was it? Oh man, I hate this when I can't remember one thing 5 seconds after I thought about it. That'll be good enough for now. I don't know what else to tell you.